Cartoon Network back then in its golden days was bursting with content. We had the rise of cool and awesome action cartoons with great characters and storytelling. But one series, nay franchise, stood out. It had great characters, awesome lore, infinite world building, and exceptional writing, and that was Ben 10. Ben 10 first hit our screens in 2005, and it's no secret how much of an impact it had on kids, myself included. I still remember rushing home from school just to watch Ben transform into four arms, because you knew shit was about to go down. The idea of Ben 10 was simple and genius. A 10-year-old boy finds a mysterious watch that lets him turn into different aliens. But how did this iconic franchise rise to glory and then slowly fall from it? This is the rise and fall of Ben 10. The original Ben 10 series aired from 2005 to 2008, captivating audiences with its unique premise and engaging storytelling. The show followed a 10-year-old Ben Tennyson who discovers the Omnitrix, a watch-like device that allows him to transform into 10 different aliens. Hence the name Ben 10. And coincidentally, the kid's name is Ben Tennyson. The episodes were always engaging because of how cool each alien was and the stories it told. Then, the world building started to get bigger and more interesting when Ben started transforming into new aliens, the first one being Cannonbolt. When I was younger, I was hooked on the idea that there were more aliens waiting to be discovered, and I also loved when Ben found new aliens and scanned them, which was majorly shown in the Scare arc, which most people don't talk about and is underrated. The characters and character development were also amazing. Grandpa Max's development as he revealed he was a plumber to the kids, Gwen learning magic, Kevin 11, being the original version of an evil Ben, and Vilgax being this intimidating force that always terrified me as a kid, and many others. It was so good to see Ben just one-shot Vilgax with Way Big in Ben 10, Secret of the Omnitrix.
That's it! You are so out of here!
The show was so good due to its crazy world building, sometimes insane foreshadowing, exciting action scenes, amazing stories, and flashy transformations. And the story and lore just got more and more interesting as the series continued. And leave a comment below. Who are your favorite Ben 10 aliens and why? Also, please leave a like and subscribe while you're down there. Like I said before, the show had a lasting impact on kids, and the success of the original series led to several sequels. And not too long before the original series ended, we got Ben 10, Alienforce. This series is set 5 years from the original show. Just by seeing the first episode, you knew this was not the show you grew up watching. This series took a more mature approach. The colors were darker, the tone was more serious, and I loved it. New aliens, a brand new story and lore. It was everything a sequel was meant to be. Keeping true to the original lore with minor retcons and expanding on it more with new aliens and story arcs. When the show started, it wasn't afraid to experiment and try new stuff. Like looking back, how did they get away with stuff like this? Introducing brand new aliens with different powers, Grandpa Max missing, Kevin becoming a good guy, and a guy who attracts girls and sucks their life force. Yeah, in a kid's cartoon. On paper, this all sounds extremely risky, but the fans loved it. One of the reasons is because most kids who grew up watching the OG series didn't stay kids forever, and it appealed to them, and even a few adult audiences, because of its mature take on the character. Even though the show was successful, it was not as successful as the original series, and by season 3, the network stepped in. They brought in new writers which changed Ben's character. They made him act more cocky and immature, like his 10-year-old self, and this didn't sit well with fans who liked the more mature Ben, which caused season 3 to be less received than the previous seasons. Still, it ended with a banger, Vilgax versus Ben. The Omnitrix destroyed and Ben gaining the Ultimatrix. And a few years later, we got Ben 10, Ultimate Alien, which had an interesting concept of Ben being able to transform into ultimate forms of his alien, which was cool. And when Ultimate Alien came out, it was a hit. Cartoon Network gave Ben 10 the Nickelodeon SpongeBob treatment, with new merch, rides, and toys. Right off the bat, Ultimate Alien was peak, but I felt the concept of ultimate forms wasn't properly executed in the show. We got some cool ones like Ultimate Echo, which enhanced the alien's powers and gave him new ability. But others felt lazy, like Ultimate Big Chill, Wild Mutt, and Cannonbolt, which were more like palette swaps than true evolution. Just look at Cannonbolt. They just painted him silver and gave him spikes. Even though Ultimate Big Chill's design sucks, this one-liner was fire.
Now it's just you, me, and fire so cold it burns.
Where's the goat? The goat!
Ultimate Alien also had a good run for the most part, giving us more insight into the amazing world that is the Ben universe, sharing more stories on Alien X and his homeworld, and the Aggregor arc was peak. And after this, we got a brief story arc about Kevin absorbing the Omnitrix and becoming evil again. Ultimate Alien, for the most part, was good, but it had one of the most forgettable last battles. The entire fight was Ben wielding Ascalon, and Vilgax and Ben charging at each other, and Ben stabs him, and the fight was over. That was it. That was the main battle. Then after this, we fast forward into Omniverse. This series continued Ben's story, but presented a new art style and mix of humor and action. It was a combination of everything that made the previous series good, and it had better and smoother animation than Ultimate Alien and Alien Force. In the beginning of the series, Gwen and Kevin go off to college, and Ben gets left alone for like 2 minutes before we're introduced to the GOAT, Rook Blanco. He became Ben's partner, which turned the show into a buddy cop show, which I didn't mind. Their dynamic was great. Gwen and Kevin still made cameos throughout the series. The show also introduced us to new characters, stories, and concepts. One of them being the GOAT, Feedback. Feedback was one of the best new aliens. His design, powers, and aesthetic was amazing, and the whole malware arc with him was peak storytelling. After this, Ben 10 started to dwell more on time travel and the multiverse, which was peak back then, before Marvel, well, kind of killed the concept. Time travel in Ben 10 was also very confusing. Can someone please explain to me what Professor Paradox means here?
Oh no, that's quite impossible. Uprig must now craft a second pair of time cycles from the wreckage of your vehicles, which the two of you will pilot back to your own timeline, thus closing the loop. At that point, you and he will become them. They, in turn, will continue on as you, since you'll no longer be you once you have become them.
What did he say?
Moving on. The time travel and multiverse shenanigans also led to the Time War story arc, which was so good. I loved the idea of different Bens coming together to fight each other. We also got to see Gwen 10 and Ben 10K again, and this was like the Invincible War, just only with Bens, which makes it better. Then there was Skurd, the slime buyout who gave Ben new weapons made from his alien's DNA. As a kid, I thought he was cool, but looking back, he was clearly made to sell toys. And moving on, after having a great run with 80 episodes, the series ended with an awesome series finale, with Ben absorbing an entire Big Bang and blasting it at Maltruan. Talk about going out with a bang, Omniverse had a good run for the most part. But despite everything Omniverse did right, amazing storytelling, animation, and aliens, most of them. Some aliens didn't make sense, like blocks. You are telling there are a whole world full of this Lego gorilla. Many fans didn't vibe with the art style or tone, and the retcons didn't help. Kevin wasn't an Osmosian anymore, just a mutant made by Cervantes. The plumber helpers, same deal. So what does that mean for Aggregor? Wasn't he full Osmosian?
Fastest course to Osmos 5.
That just makes no sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Oh my.
The inconsistencies, retcons, and art style hurt the show's legacy, even though the heart of the series was still strong.
Still, I personally think Omniverse had some of the franchise's best stories, animation, and aliens. It was just overhated back then, which I don't think is still the case now. And what really landed the final hit in the fall of Ben 10 was the Ben 10 reboot. The reboot brought Ben back to his roots, 10 years old again, more comedic, and clearly aimed at a younger audience. While it had some charm, longtime fans weren't impressed. The tone, humor, and animation style felt like a step backward. It became more about toy sales than storytelling, and with toys not selling like they used to, the show was eventually canceled. And we have not heard from Ben since then, except for this new, small, voiceless cameo he had in Jellystone, where he changed into Stinkfly. Despite its fall, Ben 10 remains one of the most iconic animated franchises ever made. It defined childhoods, inspired fan art, sparked debates, and shaped an entire generation. The series is still praised for its creativity, action, and storytelling. Even though we haven't seen anything new recently, the love for Ben 10 is still out there. And there's always hope Ben 10 might return, maybe with a series that respects the lore while introducing new stories, but all we can do now is wait. So, who were your favorite aliens? What were your favorite moments in the franchise? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into your favorite shows.